I'd like to have this one. I haven't seen this guy in years, and I'm really looking forward to it. Um, Jason went by Blain on the Mickey Mouse Club, but he's a grown man now. I guess he goes by Jason now. He probably always did, but Disney made him go by Blain. I have no idea.
That's true.
But an amazing, talented, brilliant man that I had the pleasure of working 3 seasons. How long?
2 seasons.
2 seasons. Jeez, I feel like it was 12, brother. So with no further ado, Jason Carson.
Well, Jason,
Dale,
thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We understand that you're doing some amazing things in the world today. We're here to celebrate the Mickey Mouse reunion event coming up here, the 30-year reunion event. And so we're trying to take advantage of this opportunity to kind of share the love with the Mickey Mouse Club and what it represents to people around the world. And we're inviting you, Jason, if you would share your experience about how you became a Mickey Mouse Club member.
Sure. Well, I was always involved in, the performing arts and entertainment from a young age, like most of my my fellow Mouseketeers. And it came to me one day through the grapevine, just being in that crowd, that there was a cattle call open audition for some kids in my age to audition for some Disney thing. And just on a whim, I convinced my parents to take me over there. I was handed some sides to read from, played some music to kind of freestyle dance to, and then they said, "Hey, be prepared to sing something." So I had my cassette tape, and I was ready to sing a few lines, and that was all just video recorded. And then they said, "Thanks, we'll call you back." So they called me back in a few weeks later. I did it again, and then a few weeks later, I found myself in Southern California for a final screening where I met the choreographer and the director and a lot of the folks there in the production of the show. The final selection was made, and I was just blessed to spend 2 seasons as a Mouseketeer, seasons 4 and 5. And it was a wonderful experience. I mean, it was, most people just get a junior high school experience. That's, your typical experience. But this reunion for me in many ways is much more of a high school reunion than my actual high school reunion was, I'm sure a lot of my Mouseketeer friends feel the same way.
I have to echo that. This is our high school reunion. And seeing Blain again, we used to not debate, but like have real conversations. And I would say back to, and I don't want to spend too much time in giving you a chance to talk to Jason, but I learned a lot from Jason. We used to talk about everything from religion to philosophy. And there was just viewpoints that I would not have had access to. So when we talk about diversity and the power of that, putting people from different walks of life in the same room and building friendships out of that, my relationship with Jason is an extraordinary example of that. So just wanted to throw that in there.
Well, thanks again, Dale. No, the feeling is mutual. There's a lot of respect there, and I remember a lot of those conversations. I look forward to having another one when we're together again. It'll be a lot of fun.
Well, Jason, it's our understanding that you went through some rigorous training as a result of being a part of the Mickey Mouse Club organization. And would you mind sharing with our audience and our future readers, what was the most important lesson that you learned from an entrepreneurial perspective by being a part of the Mickey Mouse Club?
I learned several things. I think the first lesson that I learned is that excellence really does matter, and that regardless of your background, again, there was just so many different kids that came in and were a part of this cast from all different parts of the country, and but there was always from the very beginning there was a push for excellence right off the bat, and we had the opportunity to push each other to be better, and a lot of healthy competition to improve in the areas where we can improve, and always offer a hand out to and a hand up to those that needed some help improving in areas. But it was probably the second and lesson that I learned was teamwork and how to work together to make something greater than the sum of all the parts. Or we were all a big deal back in our hometown, and then we came together, learned how to mesh together as a group, and become something even greater together. So that was probably the takeaway that I got from the whole experience, was just how to work in a team environment, how to come together and bring my strengths to the table, and just be used to create something magical.
Well, awesome. So we were talking about like the origin story, right? And then like the segueing of like what the takeaways were. How did those lessons and that training lead to help you get to where you are today from a career perspective? Like, tell our audience, like, what are you currently doing today? What are the things you're passionate about? What's your professional world look like?
Sure. So I live what many people would consider a pretty laid back, normal, American life. I've stayed in the entertainment industry for many of the years, most of the years. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've been spending the last decade plus just living in that scene, working in the musician, songwriting, music production, record making world. I've spent many nights sleeping on the road on a tour bus as a headliner, and also just as a supporting cast in various capacities. I have been a songwriter, and I've enjoyed some cuts from some folks that have done nominally well or fairly well with my material. And I've had in recent years the opportunity to step more into a mentor role, which I think is the most satisfying of any of the things that I've done here. Being in Nashville for almost 20 years now, you learn quite a bit. You learn how to get some things done, and there's always a fresh crop of musicians and aspiring songwriters and record producers and performers that kind of need to know the ropes and to know how to get things done in this town. And it's been a blessing to me to mentor these as they show up, and I would say that I would like to continue to do that going forward. It's a lot of fun.
Well, so obviously you were a part of one of the biggest, media platforms in the world, and to this day, in fact. And so, there's a lot of people now that are looking to become more entrepreneurial, right? Looking to have side hustles or businesses or just full-blown startups and enterprises. With your experience by being a part of the Disney organization and the Mickey Mouse Club, of that group, what would your one tip be to entrepreneurs who want to become successful in today's age of technology, media, and social media, now that it's so much more accessible than ever before?
That's a great question. Just one thing. I would say probably consistency would be the one takeaway. There was, the one thing that we had to learn how to do for sure was to be consistently there, consistently working hard, consistently improving, and always putting ourselves out there, whether it be on the stage or backstage, with rehearsing and learning our parts, or being in front of the camera and giving it our all. So, I would say consistency would be the number one attribute that an entrepreneurial individual would need, probably more than any of the others. There's a lot of important things, but consistency would be my choice. I think above all, consistency. Keep going, keep putting it out there.
I would not argue that in the slightest. I think that's actually very, very insightful and not necessarily the most obvious response that people might be thinking of, right?
Right.
As opposed to trying to go viral, right? That could
Right.
be someone's response of that's the fast path. And what you're saying is it's the consistency, right? So it's not the one hit wonder. It's the ability to, be consistent and be perpetual. So, as you're coming into this 30-year reunion event, Jason, why is it important for you to make the trip to Florida to participate in the Mickey Mouse Club reunion event? What excites you most about it? But also, what would you tell somebody who might be watching or reading this about why they should be coming and attending themselves?
Well, I think for me, the most exciting moment is going to be when I'm in a room with all of the other Mouseketeers together after so many years. There's a few of the Mouseketeers that live here in the Nashville area, so I have the opportunity to see those folks on a somewhat regular basis. I run into them all the time at the airport or even just out in the town. But to have everybody in the same room together is going to be a really cool feeling, and it's I look forward to just catching up with everyone and hugging everyone and finding out what they've been up to and their story, and there's there's a lot to be said about social media and being able to keep track of people's lives online, and I don't want to diminish from that, but there's nothing that can replace being in the same room with everybody, being in their presence and just having that energy and feeling that magic in the air that will certainly be there. I look forward to that probably more than anything else. But why everyone else should come? I think just to participate in that magic I was speaking about. I mean, the fans throughout the years have had the ability to follow us online and keep track of their favorite Mouseketeers and what everybody's up to. And that's been a great thing about social media. It wasn't around back in the day when we were doing this, when we were making this show, but it's here now, and it's been a blessing, I'm sure. But to be in the same room with us and to be able to see us in person, people that they've followed for so many years and watched for so many years and have wanted to be engaged with. This is the ultimate opportunity to engage with your favorite Mouseketeer is this reunion. So if that's something that excites you as a fan of the show, don't miss it. This is your opportunity.
Awesome. Now, obviously you're connected to some very successful, famous people, right? But outside the realm of Walt Disney and the Mickey Mouse Club, who's the one person that's still here alive on this earth that you would like to connect with or meet with someday? Because you never know if they're going to see this or read about this.
Wow, the one person. I'm going to think of about 10 people after this interview, I'm sure. But, I would say probably somebody who is just drips with talent in my particular interests of musical styles and somebody that I absolutely can't get enough of as a talent would be Harry Connick Jr. I think the man is absolutely brilliant as a musician, as a performer. I've had the opportunity to see him perform live a couple of times. That would be really cool. That'd be super cool.
Well, awesome. So Jason, I'm really grateful that you've been able to invest some time today. We're going to have our next guest coming up here on a minute. So until they come in, I want to just something personally observe is that, when you talk, Jason, about the social media side of things, and today something that's so critical to business success is the creation of content, right? Having something shareable, worthwhile to share with the world so that you can engage with people. And I look at the Mickey Mouse Club as an original content creation source, right? But it's also, you guys were influential from being brand ambassadors, like we talk about in today's world, influencer marketing, right? And in essence, you guys were in that realm of influence marketing, of bringing more children into this ecosystem and awareness. So I don't know if any of you guys want to make, you share your thoughts about that.
Well, I think, we were kind of, as young adults, we were thrust into a position and onto a platform we dreamed about, the quote unquote being famous, right? And every child dreams about that, but you don't really get a sense of what it is and the responsibility that it is and the effect that you have on so many people until you find yourself already in that position. So yeah, I look back on that experience and think of all the things that, oh yeah, well, if had I known, I would do this or that or the other thing. But all in all, the experience was so amazing that I learned so much that I have brought forward and applied, that I still apply every day. And things that, as I'm mentoring young musicians, I mean, I still, I draw upon the things that I learned as a Mouseketeer that I still impart today, which I think is probably the most satisfying, fulfilling thing that I do. Is just, again, I found myself as a young adult put on a platform, and I know that there's going to be another generation, and to be able to positively empower and influence the next generation of young adults that will step onto a platform and have a voice, and to have it be something that's a positive platform like the Mickey Mouse Club was, in so many ways and for so many people. That would be my dream, is to positively affect the next generation, and it's from what I learned, and I want to impart that and pass that on.